Hey everybody, it's Naya. Welcome back to Naya Reads Smiles. Hey everybody. Okay, so today, I'm about to expose myself. As I'm sure you guys already know, I have a habit of starting books while I'm in the middle of other books. Multiple book reading is an epidemic and I am all here for it. So I'm currently about halfway through 5 different books and I have been on this like fantasy thriller kick for almost 2.5, like 3 months now. I don't know why, I'm just such in a mood for thriller books and suspenseful, high fantasy books. I don't know, just like that whole area is just where I'm at right now. That's my bag. Before we get into this video, I have a Booktube shout out. Yes, we are continuing with the shout outs every video. Today's Booktube shout out goes to Booked with Jamila. Hey girl! Just found her channel and she is the cutest thing, like the cutest human being in the whole world. I was just watching her Booktube newbie tag, which is how I found her. As soon as I clicked on her video, I saw she had Vengeful by Victoria Schwab as well as all of Sarah J Maas. So when I saw all of those books on her shelf, I was like, yep. This is my girl. So definitely go check out Jamila's videos. She is wonderful. I'll link her channel down below in the description if you want to watch her videos. Without further ado, let's get talking about all of these books that I'm just rolling through. Renegades by Marissa Meyer. Now I know I am so late to the Renegades game. I know I just hopped on the boat, but please allow me room in the fandom because I am loving this book. This book gives me such X-Men feels to it. We are in this sort of futuristic world where there are people with powers. Among the people with powers, there are renegades, which are sort of like the hero group of the city. And then there's the anarchists, who are kind of the troublemakers, the villains of the story, I guess you could say. We're following our main character Nova, who is a part of the anarchist group. Now, I love a good revenge plot. Like, I know that's like a trope not a lot of people like, but I'm here for the revenge plot. Something happened in her childhood that made her completely turn against the renegade. She is a person with powers. So now she's on this revenge mission to take them down and destroy them. We're also following a character who is the son of 2 of the renegades from like the Renegades group. And we're also following his storyline. And of course, because he's like a hero, his storyline intersects with Nova's. Overall, I'm really liking it. I forgot how much I love Marissa Meyer's writing. Marissa Meyer wrote the Lunar Chronicles, which is one of my favorite series of all times. And I think I read the last book, is it like 2 years ago or 3 years ago the last one came out? So it's been a hot minute since I've read anything by Marissa Meyer, but just like her other series, she has really fun, diverse characters. Overall, I'm really enjoying it, so I will let you guys know my full thoughts when I finish it. All right, keeping up with the fantasy superpower theme going on here, I also started another book that I'm like so late to the game on. My best friend is actually the reason why I started reading this book, because she's currently reading Frozen Ties, which I think is the 5th or 6th book in this series. So about a week ago, I started Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. Now this is a very popular YA series or YA fantasy book. Oh my god. Okay, so again, with the revenge plots, like I just love a good revenge plot. This book I'm actually only about 150 pages into, and it's a pretty big book. There's about like 400 pages in here. So there is a lot going on in this series. So we're following a bunch of different characters, 3 main characters from 3 different kingdoms. See, there's this little map that looks a lot like Printhia, Sarah J Maas's fairy world, but we're not talking about Sarah J Maas right now. There's 3 different kingdoms here, and one of the kingdoms is wonderful and thriving. Another kingdom is kind of falling into chaos, and then there's this kingdom up here that's just like the cold, hard child. We have a bunch of different characters. I don't have a character I love yet, sadly. We've only been introduced to 3 main characters so far. The first sort of prologue of the book, there's this prophecy about this child that's gonna be very powerful and have lots of magic. You know, typical YA, you know. And one of our main characters, Cleo, I believe her name is, she ends up traveling to another kingdom and some sort of altercation happens and someone ends up dying. Boy from this other kingdom ends up making a revenge plot against her that ends up propelling the story forward. There's not really one main plot of the story. It's kind of just like one of those books where there's a bunch of different kingdoms and there's multiple problems going on and multiple characters and multiple plot lines. Like I said, I'm only 150 pages in, so I can't say much. The main thing I am like looking forward to is this prophecy thing that we were introduced in the beginning. Next book I have here is more of a thriller, and when I first first picked up this book, I almost thought it was a nonfiction book because of just how it reads. But thank you for everyone who recommended this book to me. What book was I reading? I was reading some other book where I mentioned wanting to read more books that take place like in an island setting. A couple of you guys recommended this next book and I am fully invested. As you guys can see, I decided to use a bookmark for this book because I was getting a lot of hate for my dog earring. But yes, this bookmark here is for you. People in the Trees by Hanya Yanagihara. Okay, this book is inspired by the Micronesian islands. It's placed in the 1950s and we're following this scientist who discovers this lost tribe of people that live on this remote Micronesian island. I'm not sure if the island is real. I don't think so. I think it's just made up. He ends up finding this lost tribe of people who have somehow like figured out the secret to immortality, but even though they've attained like immortality, their minds have started to deteriorate. Anyways, it ends up being this huge scientific discovery and he ends up going back to America and sharing like what he found and what he learned about this tribe. Returns to the island, he realizes what, you know, having contact with the Western world has done to the people there. The scientist is writing from jail. He ended up getting arrested because of something that happened with one of the children of the tribe. That's the other thing. He ended up adopting a bunch of the children from this native tribe and bringing them back to the Western world, to America. So he went to jail because of something he did to one of the children. So this book is kind of told in letters. One of the scientist's friends is writing to him and is translating his story. Decided to pick up the book. Just a fair warning, the beginning, yeah, we go way into his childhood before we get into any of like the science stuff. Anyways, I am really enjoying this book so far. It's a slower paced book, but again, reading it almost feels like reading a nonfiction book. I will update when I get further into this one. Okay, the next book that I started yesterday and I'm currently 50 pages into it. It is so good. Like I can't even, I know I'm not that far into it, but I already know this is gonna be like a book, you know. Thank you to everyone who recommended this book to me. I just got it in the mail a few days ago and of course just started it yesterday. Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This book, oh my god. So this is a psychological thriller. This book is about this woman who, she was a famous painter and she was married to a famous photographer. They were a well-known couple. Both of their works were extremely popular. But one day the husband came home and his wife shot him 5 times in the head and then just went silent. She didn't say anything all throughout the trial. Even when she was arrested, she wouldn't say anything. She just went silent. This criminal psychotherapist ends up going to meet the wife, and for the first time ever, she begins to talk and tell her story. So like I said, I just started this book yesterday, so I'm not that far into it, but it is so good so far. I do want to put out a warning. The beginning, or at least like the first 2 chapters, are very graphic. They depict everything that happened that day that the husband died, and stuff ended up happening to the woman as well. So it's very graphic in the beginning, so just a warning, it is an adult novel. But it's so good, and this is the book that I'm probably gonna end up reading and finishing by tonight. It's really early in the morning when I'm filming this. Last but not least, I am halfway through The Forgotten Girl by India Hill Brown. This book is written by a booktuber, Books and Big Hair. You guys probably already heard me talk about it because I just hauled it. It is a middle grade ghost thriller story following our main character, who is haunted by this ghost girl that she ended up stumbling upon her grave in a cemetery. It is so good. It is reminding me a lot of City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, which is another sort of book about a girl who can see ghosts. I'm halfway through this book right now and I'm really enjoying it, and it is definitely a middle grade book, so I'm reading it very quickly. Okay, I think that is all the books that I am currently like halfway through reading. Let me know down below what you're reading if you're like me and start a bunch of books at once. Until next time, keep reading and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!